the game that could decide everything. Arsenal versus Man City, the referee storm, and why Sunday. April 19th is the biggest day of our season. The hook, one game, everything on the line. Let me ask you something, Gooner. You are sitting at home. It is Sunday, April 19th. The clock hits kickoff time. Your heart is already going fast. Arsenal are at the Etihad Stadium facing Manchester City in what every single football expert is calling the game of the season. Not just for Arsenal, not just for City, for the whole Premier League. This is not just another away game. This is the match that could tell us whether we are going to win the Premier League title or whether we are going to hand it over to City on a silver plate. Think about that for a second. One game, one afternoon. Everything we have worked for this season could be shaped by what happens on that pitch. And as if that was not enough pressure already, there is a storm brewing before the game even starts. A referee controversy that has got people talking all over social media. A message from Mikel Arteta that gave us all goosebumps. And questions about Cole Palmer and Chelsea that remind us the title race is not a two-horse race in terms of drama. So sit down, grab your drink, and let us walk through everything you need to know before Sunday. Welcome to the Gooner TV breakdown of the biggest week in Arsenal's season. Where do things stand right now? First, let us get the facts straight so we all understand what is on the line. At the time of writing, Arsenal are sitting at the top of the Premier League table. The Gunners have a 6-point lead over Manchester City. 6 points sounds comfortable, right? You would think so. But here's the thing that changes everything. City have a game in hand. That means if City win the match they have in hand and then beat us on Sunday, the gap at the top of the table drops to just 3 points. And with several weeks of the season still to go, 3 points is nothing. That is one bad result and one City win away from us losing the top spot completely. So yes, Arsenal are still leading, but the lead is not as safe as it might look on paper. Every Arsenal fan knows this. Every Arsenal fan has been thinking about this. And every Arsenal fan knows that Sunday is the moment where we either tighten our grip on this title or we let City back in through the door. Does that make you nervous? Good. It should. But it should also make you excited because this is exactly the kind of moment our team has been building towards. Mikel Arteta says 2 words that say everything. Now let us talk about our manager. Because in the middle of all this pressure, Mikel Arteta said something that honestly gave a lot of Arsenal fans chills. Before we get to those words, let us give the full picture. Arsenal have had a rough few weeks, 3 defeats in 4 matches. We got knocked out of the FA Cup and suffered a painful loss to Bournemouth in the league. That Bournemouth result was a real blow because it opened the door for City to close the gap. So the pressure on Arteta and the players has been building and building. On top of all that, before the City game comes a huge Champions League quarter-final second leg at home to Sporting CP on Wednesday night. Arsenal hold a 1-0 lead on aggregate from the first leg. So that game has to be won and won well before our players even think about going to the Etihad. With all of that on his plate, a reporter asked Arteta what he wants from his Arsenal players right now. And he paused. He actually took several seconds before answering. And then he said this: no fear, pure fire, no fear, pure fire. That is it. That is the message. And then he kept going. He said he wants to see it in the players, in the people around the team, and in himself first of all. He called the opportunity ahead of the team unbelievable. He said they are in April. They have something incredible in front of them, and they need to go for it with absolutely everything they have. Now tell me that did not hit different, because for me, that is exactly the kind of manager talk you want to hear at a moment like this. Not complicated tactics talk, not excuses about the schedule or injuries, just raw, honest, from the gut passion. No fear, pure fire. That is the Arteta we love. That is the Arteta who has been building this Arsenal team into a genuine title contender. And if the players come out at the Etihad on Sunday with that energy, then honestly, anything is possible. Do you think the players will deliver that energy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The referee controversy that has everyone talking right. Now we need to talk about something that has been causing a lot of debate online, in the media, and in living rooms all over the country. The referee appointed for Sunday's game is Anthony Taylor. Now, Anthony Taylor is one of the most experienced referees in the Premier League. The PGMOL, which is the organization that manages referees in English football, trust him completely. He has been selected to oversee the biggest matches in the league. That is not nothing. But here is where the controversy comes in. Anthony Taylor is from Wythenshawe and he currently lives in Altrincham. Now, if you do not know Manchester's geography, Altrincham is just 6 miles away from Old Trafford. That is the home of Manchester United. And it is also not too far from the Etihad, which is Manchester City's ground. So when you have the biggest Arsenal versus City game in years, and you appoint a referee who literally lives down the road from both Manchester clubs, people are going to raise eyebrows. And the loudest voice raising those eyebrows right now is Richard Keys. Richard Keys, the former Sky Sports presenter who now works in media in the Middle East, wrote about this on his blog. He made it very clear that he does not think Anthony Taylor will deliberately make bad decisions to help City. He said that plainly, but his argument is this. Why put a referee in that position at all? Why create a situation where, if a big call goes wrong, everyone starts asking questions about where the referee is from? Keys even directed part of his frustration at Howard Webb, who runs the PGMOL. He said that if English football does not have another referee good enough to handle the game of the season, that itself is an indictment of how the PGMOL is being run. Those are strong words, and they have got people talking. On the other side of the argument, others have come out to defend the appointment. Graham Scott, speaking to The Athletic, pointed out that Taylor's support for his local club Altrincham is genuine. It is not a convenient story made up to avoid the controversy. He genuinely supports his hometown club and has no real allegiance to either Manchester United or Manchester City. Graham Rowley from Altrincham FC also told The Athletic that Taylor gets a season ticket at Altrincham every single year, even though he cannot make it to every game because of his refereeing commitments. That is not the behavior of someone secretly supporting City or United. That is a man who loves his local non-league club. So who is right here? Is Richard Keys being sensible in wanting to protect the referee from unnecessary scrutiny? Or is this whole conversation unfair to Anthony Taylor, who by all accounts is a professional doing his job? What do you think, Gooners? Is this a legitimate concern, or are people making a mountain out of a molehill? Let us know in the comments. One thing is for sure, though. Every single decision Anthony Taylor makes on Sunday will be watched closely. Every card, every penalty call, every VAR review will be talked about. That is just the reality of the situation. The referees team for the game will also include Gary Beswick and Ian Husson as assistant referees, Paul Tierney as the fourth official, and John Brooks and Stuart Burr on VAR duty. The big questions Arsenal need to answer on Sunday. Even putting aside the referee conversation, there are some real football questions that Arsenal need to answer when they walk out at the Etihad. The first and most obvious one is the injury situation. We have already had news that Declan Rice missed training this week. Now, Declan Rice is arguably our most important midfielder. He covers ground. He wins the ball back. He drives us forward. Losing him for a game at the Etihad would be a massive blow. Mikel Arteta gave an update and confirmed it is something to watch, but we do not yet have full clarity on whether he will be fit. Then there is Bukayo Saka. Another player we absolutely cannot afford to be without in a game like this. Arteta was asked about Saka as well and gave an update. Again, we are watching the situation closely. Arsenal going to the Etihad with key players missing would make an already difficult task even harder. But this squad has shown all season that it has depth. It has options. And when players have stepped in for injured teammates, they have done the job. The second big question is about mentality. Can this Arsenal team handle the pressure of going to Man City in a title six-pointer after a run of bad results? This is where Arteta's no fear, pure fire message becomes so important. If the players go to the Etihad carrying the weight of recent defeats, City will punish them. But if they go there with the mentality of a team that believes it can win, then the result is absolutely not a foregone conclusion. Arsenal have beaten City before. They have shown they can compete with anyone on their day. The question is whether this is that day. A word on Cole Palmer and why he matters to this title race now. While Arsenal and City are dominating the title conversation, we cannot have a full picture of what is happening in the Premier League right now without mentioning Cole Palmer and Chelsea. Cole Palmer has been one of the most talked about players in English football this season. He is 22 years old and he is playing with a level of maturity and quality that most players take years to develop. He left Manchester City as a young player who many felt was not getting enough chances, and he has absolutely exploded at Chelsea. Let us look at some of what Palmer has been doing this season. By the time we got to this point in the campaign, Palmer had been involved in goals at a remarkable rate. He has shown the ability to score from open play, from set pieces, from long range, and from the penalty spot. He is the kind of player who can change a game on his own. His vision, his composure, and his technical quality have made him one of the most dangerous attacking players in the league. Now, you might be wondering, what does Cole Palmer have to do with the Arsenal versus City title race? The answer is this: results are connected. Every point that Chelsea drop in matches against City or Arsenal matters. Every big performance from a player like Palmer changes the dynamic of games. Chelsea are not in the title race themselves at this point in the season, but they can still affect it. And Palmer is the kind of player who turns up in big games. He is young, fearless, and hungry. That combination makes him dangerous to anyone, including the top two. Keep an eye on Palmer. He is one of the most exciting players in England right now, and his story is far from over. For Arsenal fans, the hope is that when Chelsea face City in the weeks ahead, Palmer and his teammates give City a real game. Every point City drop to other teams helps us. What a win at the Etihad would mean for Arsenal. Let us dream for a minute. Let us say Arsenal go to the Etihad on Sunday and they win. What does that actually mean for the title race? A win would put Arsenal 9 points ahead of City. Yes, City still have that game in hand, but 9 points with a game in hand means City need to win absolutely everything while Arsenal drop points. That becomes very, very hard to do. A win on Sunday would not be enough to clinch the title outright, but it would be a massive, massive step towards getting there. More than the points, a win would send a message. It would tell City, it would tell the rest of the league, and it would tell Arsenal themselves that this is a team that is ready to be champions. It would be the statement result that would make everyone take us seriously as title favourites again. And what about the fans? After the recent bad run of results, after the Bournemouth loss, after everything that has tested our patience, a win at the Etihad would be the kind of result that brings everyone back together. It would turn the doubters into believers. It would give the team a surge of energy and confidence to see out the rest of the season. Can you imagine that feeling? Can you imagine the full-time whistle going at the Etihad with Arsenal having won? That would be one of the great moments in recent Arsenal history. So yes, we have to go there and win. We have to. But what if Arsenal lose on Sunday? We have to talk about this too. Because ignoring it would not be honest, and Gooner TV is always honest with you. If Arsenal lose at the Etihad, City cut the gap to 3 points, and they still have that game in hand. That means City could potentially go above us in the table. The title race would be wide open again. And with Arsenal's recent form showing cracks, the confidence of the squad could take another hit. It would not mean the season is over. There would still be matches to play and points to win. But it would mean that everything we have built this season is suddenly fragile again. It would mean going into the final weeks of the campaign under enormous pressure, knowing that City are right behind us. That is not a comfortable place to be. And honestly, after the recent results, Arsenal cannot afford another wobble. This is the time when you need your strongest mentality. This is the time when Arteta's no fear, pure fire message has to become reality on the pitch. Questions for the Gooner TV community. Before we get to the outro, here are some questions we want you to think about and answer in the comments. This is your community, and your voice matters. Number 1. Do you think Arsenal will win at the Etihad on Sunday? What is your gut feeling? Number 2. Should Anthony Taylor have been given this game to referee? Do you think it creates an unfair situation, or do you trust the process? Number 3. Will Declan Rice be fit enough to play? And if he is not, who do you think should come in to replace him in midfield? Number 4. How much does the recent bad run of form worry you? Has your confidence in this Arsenal team dropped, or do you still fully believe? Number 5. What did you make of Arteta's "no fear, pure fire" message? Did it inspire you, or do you need to see it from the players on the pitch before you believe it? Drop your answers below. Let us get a proper conversation going. Final thoughts. This is our moment. All right, Gooners, let us bring it home. Every season, every title race, every generation of supporters has its defining moments. Those games and those days where you look back years later and say, that was when everything changed. That was the day we showed who we really are. Sunday, April 19th at the Etihad Stadium has the chance to be one of those days for this Arsenal generation. This squad, this manager, these players have given us so much to believe in this season. Yes, there have been setbacks. Yes, there have been moments where it hurt. But that is football. That is what makes the good moments feel so special. Mikel Arteta said it himself, no fear, pure fire. And that is what we need from the team. And honestly, it is what we need from us as supporters too. No fear about what happened in the last few weeks. No fear about the pressure of the moment. Just pure fire and belief that this Arsenal team is good enough to go to Man City and get a result. The PGMOL have made their decision on the referee. The fixture is set. The date is in the diary. All that is left now is for the players to go out there and perform. We are Arsenal. We are in the title race. We have a chance that many clubs would dream of. And we have a manager who believes in his team completely. So let us go, Gooners. Let us back this team with everything we have. Let us fill social media with red and white support. Let us show Arsenal that the Gooner TV community is right behind them every step of the way. No fear, pure fire. Up the Arsenal.